Welcome, dear listeners, to another chilling episode of Abyss of Horror. Today, we're diving deep into the bone-chilling accounts of 3 genuine, haunted doll encounters that defy explanation. These cases have been well documented, and their true accounts will haunt your dreams. So if you're ready, let's begin. Number 1. Mandy the Doll. The air is thick with dread as we delve into the unsettling tale of Mandy, a porcelain baby doll whose innocent appearance belies a far darker history. Originating from Quesnel Museum in British Columbia, Canada, this vintage artifact has been the source of numerous inexplicable incidents that can only be described as supernatural. Mandy was made in England or Germany sometime between 1910 and 1920. She's a crier doll with eyes that open and close and a small contraption meant to mimic the wails of an infant when tipped. But it wasn't Mandy's construction that attracted attention. It was the eerie phenomena surrounding her. In the early 1990s, Mandy was donated to the museum by a local woman who could no longer tolerate the unsettling experiences that accompanied the doll. The woman told museum staff that she would hear the sound of a baby crying in the dead of night. Each time, she would rise from her bed, thinking it might be her own child, only to find the noise emanating from the room where Mandy was kept. Once Mandy was handed over to the museum, the nightly cries ceased in the donor's home, but not at the museum where the doll was now housed. Museum employees and visitors alike began to notice odd occurrences. Personal belongings would inexplicably go missing, only to reappear later. Footsteps would echo through empty halls. A chill, unattributed to any draft or air conditioning, would pervade certain rooms. Most disturbingly, the other dolls in the collection would be found with their heads turned to focus on Mandy, as if captivated by her presence. On occasion, visitors to the museum would be inexplicably drawn to Mandy. They'd claim to feel her eyes following them, or sense an invisible pull urging them closer. Cameras and electronic equipment would malfunction in her vicinity, rendering people unable to document their close encounters with this enigmatic object. Over the years, numerous investigations have been conducted on Mandy. Paranormal experts, psychics, and even skeptics have examined her, and many concur that an inexplicable energy surrounds her. A few brave souls have even taken Mandy out of her glass display case to study her up close, despite the chill that grips their hearts as they do so. They report that she seems to weigh far more than she should, as if holding the weight of her mysterious past. Mandy's backstory is somewhat ambiguous with various owners throughout the years, but one thing remains consistent. Those who keep her often suffer emotional and psychological distress. Yet no one knows who or what infuses this century-old porcelain doll with her inexplicable qualities. Today, Mandy resides in a locked glass case in the Quesnel Museum, where she can be viewed by those intrigued or brave enough to face her. Staff often keep her isolated from other dolls, fearing the strange influence she seems to exert. She has become a subject of various articles, books, and even documentaries, all aiming to unravel her mysteries. So if you ever find yourself in the vicinity of Quesnel Museum, perhaps you'd like to pay Mandy a visit. But beware, for as many attest, meeting Mandy is not just an encounter with an artifact, it's an intimate dance with the inexplicable, the chilling, and perhaps the paranormal. Here ends the chilling tale of Mandy the Doll, a story that forces us to confront our own skepticism, daring us to deny the mysterious and often terrifying world that lies just beyond the veil of human understanding. Who's to say what energies linger within inanimate objects? All we can say for certain is that Mandy will continue to intrigue, mystify, and frighten all who cross her path. Consider this a cautionary tale. There are things in this world far beyond our understanding, and some of them can be deceptively innocent-looking, like a porcelain doll sitting behind a glass case, eyes opening and closing, almost as if she's watching, waiting. Robert the Doll. In the quaint, sun-drenched town of Key West, Florida, an unassuming museum houses an object that defies the cheerfulness of its surroundings, a doll named Robert. Though dressed in a miniature sailor suit, his expression is far from innocent. A mischievous smirk graces his weathered face, stitched together a century ago. He sits encased in glass, almost mocking the various legends and testimonies surrounding him. His eyes, some say, follow you around the room. Robert the doll belonged to Robert Eugene Otto, a young boy who received the doll as a gift from his family's Bahamian maid. Rumor has it that she was a practitioner of voodoo and black magic, and that she wasn't particularly fond of the Otto family. She gave Robert Eugene the hand-sewn doll in the early 1900s, and the friendship was instantaneous. Robert Eugene even named the doll Robert, and they became inseparable. But the Otto household soon experienced a series of inexplicable occurrences. Family members would hear laughter and footsteps, only to find Robert Eugene blamelessly playing in his room. The kicker? The laughter wasn't coming from the boy. It was emanating from the doll. Furniture would be overturned, vases shattered, and toys mutilated. Yet Robert Eugene was always found in the proximity of the doll, claiming, "Robert did it." Years passed, but the unsettling events continued. When Robert Eugene grew up and moved out, he left Robert behind, locked in the attic. The doll wasn't content to be forgotten, though. The home's new inhabitants complained of hearing footsteps coming from the attic, accompanied by a voice that was not quite human and not quite mechanical. Neighbors began to report seeing the doll move from window to window, even though the attic was locked. Eventually, the doll was donated to the museum in Key West, where it remains to this day. Those who visit the doll feel an inexplicable change in the atmosphere as they draw closer to his display. Cold drafts and unsettling whispers seem to circle Robert, creating an aura of dread that many museum goers cannot shake off. If you dare to take a photo of Robert, be warned. The curators of the museum insist you must ask for Robert's permission first. Disrespecting him, they say, brings a curse of bad luck and misfortune. Numerous letters are displayed around his glass enclosure, letters from individuals who failed to ask for permission and have experienced mysterious accidents, relationship breakdowns, and even life-threatening illnesses soon after. So if you ever find yourself in the idyllic setting of Key West, remember that darkness can reside even in the sunniest places. Do pay a visit to Robert the doll if you're brave enough, but be sure to show him the respect he commands. Or else, be prepared for the consequences. The laughter, the footsteps, and the unsettling events that shadow this doll are as real as the glass case that holds him. And remember, when you feel those eyes following you, it's not your imagination. It's Robert, watching and waiting. Thus, Robert the doll remains a living legend, a mysterious entity that holds a town and even the world in the grip of an eerie fascination. Yet, the most disturbing part of the tale, the theory that Robert is still very much alive, that his soul is restless, and that he's always watching, waiting to claim his next unwitting victim. Annabelle. In the heart of Connecticut, a tale of malevolent forces has taken root, a story so spine-chilling that it has captured the attention of paranormal investigators and horror aficionados alike. This is the story of Annabelle, a Raggedy Ann doll that appears innocent, yet harbors an evil so profound it has left an indelible mark on all who have dared to interact with it. The story began in 1970 when a young nursing student named Donna received the Raggedy Ann doll as a birthday gift from her mother. Donna and her roommate Angie placed Annabelle on a bed and thought nothing more of the cheerful-looking doll. However, it didn't take long for unnerving occurrences to transpire. Donna and Angie found Annabelle in positions they hadn't left her in, legs crossed, arms folded or standing upright when they'd left her sitting. Then came the handwritten notes, scribbled messages that read, "Help us," and "Help Lou," found on parchment paper that neither Donna nor Angie owned. Startled, they decided to consult a medium who claimed the spirit of a 7-year-old girl named Annabelle Higgins had attached herself to the doll. The spirit conveyed that she felt comfortable with Donna and Angie and wanted to stay with them by moving into the doll. Sympathetically, the roommates gave their permission. But that was a grave mistake. Their friend Lou, who had always been skeptical about Annabelle, had a horrifying experience. One night, Lou awoke suddenly from a deep sleep, paralyzed. He looked down at his feet and saw Annabelle gliding up his leg, onto his chest, and finally stopping at his throat. An unseen force then started to strangle him. Gasping for breath, Lou blacked out and woke up the next morning, convinced that the ordeal had not been a dream. It was then that Donna and Angie decided to consult renowned paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren. Upon examination, the Warrens declared that the doll itself was not possessed, but manipulated by an inhuman presence. They suggested that the entity aimed to possess a human host and had manipulated perceptions to seem as if it were the spirit of a little girl. With a priest's assistance, an exorcism was performed to cleanse the apartment, and Annabelle was sealed in a glass case filled with holy water, stored away in the Warrens' occult museum. The inscription on the case warns, "Positively do not open." Yet the demonic presence seems to linger around the doll. Museum visitors who have taunted or disrespected Annabelle have met untimely accidents or have been inflicted with haunting nightmares. Thus, Annabelle remains encased, but her malevolent aura hangs thick in the air, a grim reminder that evil can manifest in the most innocent of forms. She's a silent sentinel of dread, locked away but never fully restrained. One can only hope that the glass case remains sealed, for who knows what terror would be unleashed should Annabelle find another way out. And so, in the vaults of a small museum in Connecticut, sits Annabelle, still, quiet, and eternally menacing. A doll that embodies a malevolence so pure it defies human understanding. A tale not just of a haunted object, but of unchecked evil waiting for a chance to inflict itself anew. And there you have it, the dreadful account of Annabelle. A tale so terrifying it has transcended the boundaries of folklore to become a chilling reality. Beware, for the next time you find an innocent-looking doll at a yard sale or antique shop, remember the story of Annabelle and think twice before inviting it into your home. If you like these stories, don't forget to hit that subscribe button on the right. Smash the bell button on the channel to get notified of new upcoming videos, and make sure you like this video. Do it, or face the consequences.